Hey, this is Dave Hooke with Hooke and Eckman Realtors and the Dave Hooke team out of South Central Pennsylvania. This is a business building video blog for agents and teams looking to learn and share information and grow their business. On today's video blog, we're going to answer the question, how do we structure a new buyer appointment? Stick around to find out. All right, so the question today is, how do we structure a new buyer appointment? Now, I know what you're thinking. What is a new buyer appointment, and why would you have any structure at all? So for years, I went to show homes to buyers that I just met or picked up because they inquired on a property, and I would chat with them about the process a little bit, and then meet them at the home, show them the home, maybe talk to them about consumer notice, of course, and buyer's agency, and that sort of thing. And maybe I would retain them, and maybe I wouldn't. What I found is that when I would go into listings, I had a very structured process, and I would build rapport, go over the consumer notice, go over a listing presentation, and then ask, of course, do a needs assessment on their goals and motivations. And it was a very structured process. And I wondered why we didn't have a similar structure when we did new buyer appointments, and we just kind of flew by the seat of our pants. So I checked around to some of the highest producing and innovative brokers in the country, and sure enough, one thing I found in common is that they structured their buyer appointments, their showing appointments with buyers that they're meeting for the first time, just like their listing appointments. So that's one of the things we adopted over the last few years, is that when we set up an appointment to meet a buyer for the first time at a home, one of the things we explain to them is that as part of our process, we're going to meet at the home, go over some state-required paperwork that enables us to talk freely about the property. It's called a consumer notice. And then we're going to go through the property and also just take a few minutes before we leave just to go over some information about the real estate process that they can take home with them. We get their permission right there on the phone to do that, and then we set up the showing and confirm it. Of course, there's some qualifying involved and all of that good stuff. But then once we show up at the appointment, we revisit what this showing will look like. And I know it sounds weird and it's a little bit oversimplified, but we say, hey, just like I said on the phone, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the house, go over the consumer notice, which is a state form, so we can talk freely about the property, and then also talk about our role. And then as we're walking through, of course, build rapport, ask questions about their goals and motivations, find common ground, develop a relationship, and then open the buyer packet, which is fully equipped with mortgage information, an informational sheet to do a needs assessment about the buyer. Of course, the consumer notice is there, but we should have gone over that in advance. A buyer's agency agreement, and then what I call a buyer presentation. A buyer presentation just kind of outlines and unpacks the entire buyer process. And first, it just goes deeper on what buyer's agency is, which we also would have pointed out in the consumer notice, and the benefits of buyer's agency in Pennsylvania to the buyer, to be an advocate and talk and look out for their best interests. And then it goes into our role as a buyer's agent and some of the services that we can provide to them so that they can save time and save money and save hassle and go through a smoother transaction. And that buyer presentation is about 15 pages long, and it's about 5 pages shorter than our listing presentation. And it helps them understand exactly what our role can be in advocating for them through the transaction. Afterwards, we ask them if that all makes sense. And then, of course, we can move into the next phase, which is signing the buyer's agency if they seem amenable to that. So that's how our new buyers appointments are structured. If you have any questions or anything to add about how you structure buyer appointments, I'd love to hear from them. Just reach out at the information below. Thanks as always for watching our video blog, and we hope to hear from you soon.